Hello everybody, my name is KirkpattieCake. I am an author and robot, and today, I know I didn't change the set. Please don't hurt me for it. Today, we're going to be talking about some cancellation news, because why not? I don't know, somebody mentioned it. I've already talked a little bit about cancellations, and if you see any cancellations in the future of like creative stuffs, let me know, because I feel like it's fun to just catalog cancellations and just keep going. I don't know. It's partially sad, but I also think that we can laugh at them. But before we get started, number one, April LBRY is accepting submissions down in the description below. Click it, click it, join the submission process, have your stories read like I did on Monday this week, and join the community. Number two is Dead End Drive is getting an audiobook. Yay! And the person reading it is insanely talented. It is going to be the best audiobook in audiobook history. But he is something special. Follow him over on Twitch. His link is down in the description below. You can also follow him on Instagram to get notifications and all of that. But he does his streaming of book readings on Twitch, and it's also, I think, something that Twitch could use. His talent plus fun time book reading, and he's a really nice guy, so I hope you will go and support Kieran over on Twitch. And if you don't have a Twitch account, make one just to support him, because he is seriously worth it. Anyway, and then number three, if you enjoy what I do on this channel, if you enjoy what we do here on the KirkpattieCake network space, like this video, share it with your friends and or any interested party, and subscribe for more content like this. So we've got a handful of cancellation or creative censorship stories to go through today. You no longer have to look at the used set piece here. Number one is, you all probably heard about this last week. Mr. Potato Head is no longer Mr. Potato Head. That's right, Hasbro has decided that they are canceling the Mr. He is now just a potato. I am waiting for California edition of Mr. Potato Head, which will of course be baked potato. You know what I'm talking about. But, you know, in the order to be the gender neutral, he is now just a potato head, and you're going to get mixed pieces, even though I don't think it really ever mattered. I never had a potato head. But let me know what you think about this. And also let me know if you think that fries, is it just me, or are fries a little bit phallic in nature? Now, if a fry is phallic version of a potato, is a baked potato the gynocentric version of a potato? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, this is so stupid. Next thing is that apparently Henry Cavill was canceled earlier last week because at some point he dated Gina Carano. And in case you didn't know, Gina Carano was canceled last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it is now. I did a video on this because of some post that she did on social media that said, don't demonize people that think differently than you politically, because bad things follow. She got canceled for that, and there's just a lot of things going on. But Henry Cavill is canceled for dating her like 10 years ago. Apparently, you should be background checking your dates even before they do something wrong to make sure that it doesn't come back and bite you in the future. Also, funny enough, I don't have an article here for it, but lots of people are canceling Disney Plus over Gina Carano. So we've got some counter canceling cancel culture going on with, oh, you're gonna cancel Gina for this, well, we're gonna cancel Disney Plus. So last week I saw a bunch of people only putting negative comments on all Disney Facebook posts. So there is at least some white pilling going on with some cancel culture. There's a war going on. So the next thing is the Virginia school system has now canceled Dr. Seuss, citing racial undertones in the writing reports. Celebrated American children's author Dr. Seuss is now considered too controversial for one of Virginia's largest school districts, a news report reveals. Oh my gosh, so I have another story I have to cover now because this is talking about children. Are Dr. Seuss books racist and anti-woman? Oh, please. For 2 decades, Dr. Seuss's birthday has been celebrated in schools as Read Across America Day, a day dedicated to the importance of reading and literacy. The day falls on Dr. Seuss's birthday in honor of the impactful author whose books have helped countless children learn to read across the globe. But following pressure from activists, Loudoun's County Public School is reporting dropping annual Seuss celebration, realizing that many schools continue to celebrate Read Across America Day in partial recognition of Dr. Seuss's birthday. It is important for us to be cognizant of research that may challenge our practice in this regard, Loudoun County Schools said in an announcement reportedly to the Daily Wire. As we become more culturally responsive and racially conscious, all building leaders should know that in recent years, there have been research revealing radical undertones in the books written by and illustrated and the illustrations drawn by Dr. Seuss. This isn't the first time that Dr. Seuss has been targeted for cancellations. Former First Lady Melania Trump fired back at Massachusetts elementary school librarian in 2017 who claimed the illustrations in Dr. Seuss books, usually cartoon animals or fantastical creatures, were examples of racist propaganda. So, I mean, no good deed goes unpunished. You can look totally at these things and see nothing, but if somebody sees something offensive, you canceled. And on the topic of children's media, Disney has slapped The Muppet Show with an offensive content disclaimer. So, now The Muppets gets the offensive content disclaimer. Well, they also have Futurama, and doesn't Disney also own Family Guy and like a lot of kind of sketchy adult shows? The Muppets is just The Muppets, okay? Have a good time, stop thinking so hard, and stop looking for things to be offended by. The entire show is satire. Every character in The Muppets is a satire of somebody. Whatever. So, a little more serious on this note, especially for writers, Amazon has quietly ended sales of a book it labels as hate speech. So recently, Amazon has changed their publishing TOS on their website. So any of you who use Amazon as a publisher, this might interest you, especially if you tend to write more risque, politically driven stuff, and I will show you why. Sometime before this week, when it removed from its digital shelves a book critical of transgender ideology, Amazon altered its content policy to explicitly forbid books that, quote, promote hate speech, a major rule change that could be used to rationalize actions against a broader range of books sold by the digital retail giant. So they changed the rules in general for anything that is hate speech, and if you've noticed through Twitter and Facebook and just about anything, hate speech is usually not actually defined specifically, and it's applied kind of I don't want to say liberally, it's applied casually to some things but not to other things, and there's just no real way to know what hate speech is because nobody ever defines it. Hate speech is usually very subjective, and so if you use Amazon as your main publisher, like you publish through KPD or you publish through Kindle or anything like that, you might want to be aware of this policy, which means if somebody decides that you have something hateful in your content, they may remove your book altogether from the Amazon bookstore. So it might be a reason to go find another publisher distributor to go through that isn't Amazon. So just some thoughts. Anderson told Just the News that he had received no explanation for the ban. Reached for comment by Just the News, Amazon declined to provide any explanation, offering instead a link to its book content policy. A review of those policies suggests that sometime in the last few months, Amazon made a major change in the ways in which it moderates book content on its servers, imposing a much stricter standard on books than it had previously done. The link provided by Amazon this week claims in part that where books are concerned, the company doesn't sell certain content, including content that we determine is hate speech or other materials we deem inappropriate or offensive. And the Internet Archive shows that as recently as August of last year, Amazon's book content policy did not include any mentions of hate speech. At that time, the company stated only that we reserve the right not to sell certain content, such as pornography and other inappropriate content. On the older page, the company directed users to guidelines for other categories of products, such as products featuring offensive or controversial material. That policy stipulated in part that Amazon does not allow products that promote, incite, or glorify hatred, but the rule explicitly noted that the policy did not apply to books. Anderson said he was not notified by the company that his book had been removed. Quote, "I only found out because people trying to buy the book told me it was gone." So this is specifically concerning just because you want to be able to put ideas out there. You want to be able to put books out there that there are just all kinds of ideas, whether it is fiction or nonfiction. If you're just presenting your ideas, there has been incorrect information printed in psychology books forever. Like, we still talk about Freud, and Freud's information has longly been disputed. So put the ideas out there and give people an opportunity to disprove them or to argue with them. That's the thing. But when you're also going this far to censor content, well, we've watched the censor get smaller and smaller over the years to be more dangerous, to count more stuff as outside of the bounds of what's allowed. And it's just, if you look at 1984, it's just to make it so you're not able to even, if you can't discuss it, then you can't think of it. If you can't think of it, then you can't discuss it. It's this thing about limiting what people can think about. So it's a dangerous precedent. And if you publish through Amazon as your main book printer, you're going to want to keep an eye on this to see if you might be pushing boundaries. If you just write general genre content, then you're probably not going to have to worry about this, especially if you just follow generic guidelines for that. But that does not mean that Amazon cannot and will not change their general policies for self-publishing or indie publishing to kind of have more of a stranglehold on the writing industry. So consider that. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And also, what are your thoughts in that they canceled this book? You're not allowed to purchase this book on Amazon, but you can purchase Mein Kampf. So what are your thoughts on that? Finally, because we keep running into this issue, the classics, this bothers me so much that I can't even describe it. If classics don't change, I don't understand this English here. Doesn't change. If classics doesn't change, let it burn. First, copy editor. Is that a copy editor issue? Because that doesn't read correctly. Secondly, notice, so we talked before how some classic, I think it was the Odyssey that was getting canceled somewhere in a previous video. And this is what should really stand out to anybody with this movement to cancel the classics. It's, they don't just want to add more to the repertoire to make it more diverse. They don't just want to add, here's some new contemporary books and here are some old ones, and let's compare and let's see how stories have changed over time. Let's see the value in the old. Let's see the value in the new. It's none of that. What they want to do is to burn it, to destroy it. And that language, it is hostility, it is anger, it is hatred, it is a desire to completely destroy something. And that's what bad people do, okay? The bad people always want to completely burn, destroy, annihilate something that they don't like, and it's something that should be taken very, very seriously. They want to destroy culture, they want to destroy history, and they don't even want to study it. They don't even want to pretend to study it. They just want to get rid of it forever for good and replace it with themselves. That is a sketchy movement right there. And Johanna Hanink writes, I lead a local library group that is reading Herodotus's Histories, an ancient Greek account of the Greco-Parisian Wars. Last week, one of the members emailed me after he saw the New York Times Magazine profile of the Princeton classicist Dan L. Padilla Peralta. So painful to read, he commented. There's so much anger about this field of study. That message got me thinking about why so many people care so much about what is happening in the field of classics. Among humanities disciplines, classics is probably second only to American history for the size of its non-academic fan base. Trade books on Greek and Roman histories consistently pepper the lists of major publishing houses. Media outlets cycle through think pieces comparing this and that modern phenomena to some aspect of classical antiquity. Was Trump a new Nero? Is the coronavirus pandemic like the plague that killed Pericles? There are, of course, some who feel threatened by this kind of work. Well, you're saying go burn the classics down, burn your past down, burn your history down, burn your influences down. Yes, of course, people are going to have a problem with you. You're saying get rid of it all and buy my book instead. No. Like, burning content and then putting yours in the vacuum is a scam. And we see through you. They see critiques of Grecian. Now, that's not saying that everybody in Greek and Roman history and societies had everything perfect, because they didn't. But you can critique something without burning it all down. When you use language like burn it all down, you are implying hatred. You are implying a destruction. Like if you look at Frollo talking about burning the gypsies, it's not because he likes the gypsies. It's because he is angry at the gypsies because the one that he has his eyes on won't sleep with him. Like, it is anger at rejection. It is hatred. It is not healthy for you to look at stuff that you don't like and say destroy it. That is what bad guys do. I'm just letting you know, as an author, it is bad guys that look at somebody else and say, I hate them, destroy them. Think of who usually is like that in the movies. If you really have a hard time, think of who looks at somebody else and goes, kill them, I want that, I want what he has. That's not the hero's journey, sweetie. They see the critics of Greco-Roman antiquity and even the classics' own disciplinary histories as an attack not only on Western civilization, but on the United States' putative leading role in it. There is no coincidence, given the notion of Western civilization was itself developed largely by the new historians working at American universities in the aftermath of World War I. Classical antiquities' exalted status in national narratives helps to explain why conservative publications love to lament the field's supposed decline in the hands of liberals. I mean, when you're saying destroy everything, it is a decline. You're not saying to maintain something, you're saying to destroy it. It is a decline. College Great Books courses once told a story that began with Homer and ended with Dante, the case of the sequence I took as an undergraduate. But now, many people seem worried that soon the text of traditional Western canon will no longer be read at all. That is kind of a problem. On the other hand, at a time when the humanities seem ever more under threat, classicists are struggling to justify the existence of their departments without the aid of the claim of the ancient Greek and Rome, where the foundation of Western civilization. Until very recently, the truth and virtue of that claim, which still lingers in the About section of departments and organizations, had gone broadly unchallenged. So yes, today it can feel like there is so much anger about the field of study. There is anger from those who fear that a privileging of Greco-Roman antiquity will lead to the decentering of certain identity categories. American, Western, white, male. You're saying to destroy the history and background of, like, you've already admitted that the American history, style, culture, a lot of our things, including the Republic, have come from these backgrounds. When you're saying burn them, yes, you are kind of threatening the American and the white and the Western situation. I don't know why you always have to turn this into a race and a sex issue, though, but you need to stop. You are destroying the American and the West, specifically identities, because you're saying get rid of the historical context, get rid of the historical stories, get rid of the readings of philosophy. And that's not to say that Seneca or any of the Greek philosophers had anything, or Aristotle had anything 100% correct. Nobody is 100% correct. But that's the point of studying, is you compare and contrast ideas, and you talk about ideas, and you work through what works and what doesn't work, and why it doesn't work, and the morality of it and the immorality of things, and you figure out these things. Nobody is wrong 100% of the time, just as nobody is right 100% of the time. Bad people can say correct things and good people can say incorrect things. That's why you compare, contrast, learn, study, grow. But it's stuff like this that makes it seem like you're supposed to be correct 100% of the time, all of the time. You're supposed to come out of the womb highly educated and highly moral without ever making any mistakes, without ever having a wrong opinion, even when it is the common taught opinion, even when it is the common practiced idea or culture or whatever around you. You're supposed to just accept that for what it is. Or you're supposed to be smarter than the average quo and reject it outright when nobody else is. I don't understand what these people want other than perfection when you come out of the womb. And if you have perfection when you come out of the womb, then you better just die immediately, because exposure to the world is just going to make you a bad person if you come out perfect. Just let people fail, all right? Let people have wrong ideas and show them how wrong they are. You don't burn them. There is anger from those for whom that decentering is not happening quickly enough, and there is anger from those who are drawn to the study of antiquity but have been hindered by the exclusivist structures of the discipline. In the last two cases, the anger is justified. But I'm also exasperated by the media coverage of the latest chapter in the so-called culture wars. So often that coverage omits to mention all of the intellectual innovations and knowledge advancements that are happening these days in and alongside classics. This is especially frustrating because of much of it is happening thanks to classicists of color, not because of current disciplinary structures, but despite them. While there are plenty of reasons for anger, there is also reason for hope. Within the ivory towers, Eos, Africana receptionist of ancient Greece, so I'm going to guess that if you had European classicist studiers go and pick apart African literature or Asian literature and say everything that's wrong with them and say we need to burn them because of the ideas that are in this, there would be a problem with this. And you would be correct. So why is it okay that any other race or any other culture can look at specifically just Greek and Roman or European literature, European culture, Western literature, and say everything here is wrong and burn it all? Like, we need to compare, contrast. We need to allow people to have their cultures, to have their backgrounds. We're not destroying African literature. We're not destroying Middle Eastern literature. We're not destroying Asian literature. It can all exist. It can have the philosophies, the correct and the incorrect, and we can compare and contrast and learn the lives these people lived and the philosophies they lived through by studying these things. I don't understand this point, this purpose especially of taking outsider cultures to critique and destroy a culture that's not their own. It would not be acceptable in any other way. What is more, in turning away from the triumphalists' Western civ model, a new generation of classicists is becoming better in tune with the world's shifting realities. For example, the nation of Greece has recently been looking to allies beyond Europe. It is forging new economic and cultural links with China in a partnership based, at least rhetorically, on the idea of nations with ancient pedigrees understanding each other. China's kind of doing a thing. Check and see what Ted Bundy said about China in the 70s. He was majoring in Chinese. Just so you know, he switched his major because he saw something coming in the 70s. The same general premises also underpins the ancient civilization forms a cultural initiative with 9 member countries in regions that were cradles of ancient civilization. The forum casts the antiquity as a potential source of soft power in modern nations. The rise of archaeo-diplomacy in interstate relations is one reason that the study of global antiquity is relevant, even urgent. This is why I feel invigorated but not threatened at the prospect of changing my discipline. It is also why I stand with those who are have no more patience for the study of the classics. As a fairy tale Western original story, that paradigm has not even been around for very long, and people will still be reading the Odyssey and Antigone and the Aeneid long after it's gone. And so I stand with Dan L. Padilla Peralta and others who would rather see the current incarnation of classics burn than fossilized, and who are eager for the fire that, just if you're saying burn the books, burn the ideas, burn the background, you're the bad guy. I don't have any more patience for this. You're the bad guy. Let the books exist. I'll let your books exist, and we'll see who does better. But what you're actually doing is, one, you're destroying a culture, destroying a history, and you're actually just trying to destroy competition, which kind of tells me that you don't have any confidence in your own abilities. You want to take away you want to take away choice from other people, because the choices are this book or your book. And if you burn the other book, then people can only go to your book. And that, to me, reads low confidence, it reads destruction, it reads disrespect for the craft, for the history, for the cultures that you live in. But those are just my opinions, okay? Take it, leave it, let me know what your thoughts down below are. I just like the idea of everybody getting to share their ideas, and then we can see where we land from there, rather than trying to cancel everybody and everything. Can't we all just have a good time? Speaking of which, canceling, the whole canceling of business, check out steakhousebooks.com. Yes, we're going there right now, because we've got some business. So in case you didn't know, Steakhouse Books is the publisher for Dead End Drive. Currently getting an audiobook, my amazing talent. I'll keep saying it as long as you listen to me. But it is also accepting submissions for our first anthology due for publication in 2022. Well, I guess it's not actually accepting submissions yet. Submission period starts in May, but it goes through next year. And it is an anthology of short stories with pay to some extent. We're a small press, so you get what you get. But raw, is going to be accepting short story submissions all through the rest of this year, starting in May, and it is going to be accepting stories of satire, humor, they have to be fiction, and speculative stuff. So if you're not sure what speculative is, go over, send an email through Contact Us and ask what we're submitting. Otherwise, check it out. Maybe consider submitting yourself. So look forward to hearing from you. But again, we're not canceling anybody. We just want to be entertained at Raw, at Steakhouse Books. We want some good meat. So send us your good meat stories. In case you didn't know, this is for well done and rare books. That said, check out this website. It is down in the description below. Our press is slowly but surely moving, hopefully. And that is all, I guess. Hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know your opinion on one or all of the topics discussed today. If you like what I do on this channel, remember to like the video, share it with others, subscribe for more, make your friends subscribe even if they won't watch it, because I like to pretend that people like to hear from me, and have a good weekend. I guess it's Thursday. Also check out Kieran's channel down below. Probably reading something that's not dead and drive, but you can catch his incredible work when the audiobook comes out later this year. Oh my gosh, it's the best. It's the best. That's all I can say. It is the best. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I'm gonna hurt myself from how much I'm rambling. Have a good weekend and don't die. That was a wink. That was my attempt at a wink. Dear Madam Astra, that's me. We regret to inform you that on August 1st, your employer, Agatha Jane Benedict, owner of the Benedict estate, peacefully passed away in her sleep. Oh, that's so sad. Wait. Let me try that again. Oh my goodness. That's so sad. Yeah, I think I'm ready. With millions of dollars on the line and the opportunity for your every need to be taken care of for life, tell me, is there anything more valuable than that? I didn't think so. Dead End Drive is a dark comedy novel that makes 3 promises. 1, an illustrious estate in Louisiana. 2, an opulent dinner affair for all in attendance. And 3, and most importantly of all, lots and lots of competitive murder. So if you're looking for a cozy book to settle in with for the spooky season, I've only got one question for you. Will I see you at the whale reading?